Okay, now let's review the learning objectives for this chapter and see whether we have learnt all of those. So, describe the properties of tuple data structure, we did that several times. Perform valid operations, unpack tuple, you're doing homework on that, right? State and use tuple built-in functions, len, max, min, that kind of stuff. Describe the properties of the list data structure. So like tuple, we have list, valid operations, built-in list functions, and then we have dictionary, valid operations in dictionary, and then use of built-in functions in dictionary built-in functions. Well, I don't know whether we did that or not. We will have opportunities to do that. Well, yeah, we did, like keys and value and items and that kind of stuff. So describe properties of a set data structure, and then comprehension, list, set, and dictionary comprehension. Defining user-defined functions, so write functions and use them. Lambda function, we haven't used lambda function. Well, we used lambda function once before, but we haven't had a chance to write more of those. We had a couple of examples of that. And then we did the apply a function to each element, that's your map. Okay. So that's chapter 3. So with this, we complete all the native Python features. Okay. And of course, there's a lot more to it, but whatever that is native to Python, we have completed. So let's go ahead and review kind of a summary of what we have done so far. And I have a link to this in Canvas. Okay, so we started out with chapter 2, scalar types. So we have integer, floating point, string, boolean, and none. Binary operations, plus, minus, division, multiplication, modulus, and so on. Comparison operators, whether two or equal, two equal signs, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And then you have compound, so you can use the AND operator or operator if you have more than one condition to check. Okay, and then we have typecasting, integer to floating point to string, and that kind of stuff. Then for strings, we have indexing and slicing of strings, then built-in functions like capitalize, upper, lower. Okay, and then there are more functions like stripping, left strip, right strip, partition, join. And then there is this date and time data type, which is a special kind of data type, and we need to use date time library for that. And we use date function, and time delta function from the date time library. And then for parsing, if you have a string, dates given a string, to convert a date given in a string into a date time type, you have to use the parsing, strp time and str. So string to date time, and then you have date time that you want to print as a string, then you have str format, f format, f time. Then we have program control, which is if, else, elif combination, and then you have the loops, for loop, while loop, and enumerate. And then of course we have the f string printing. These are the topics that we covered in chapter 2. And in chapter 3, we had data structures. Okay. So those are scalar data types is what we looked at in chapter 2. In chapter 3, we have data structures. So we have an array of items, okay, tuple, list, dictionary, set, and then we have the comprehension, and we have the functions. Right. So now we're going to move on to the next chapter. Okay. From now on, we'll be using libraries that have been written for us by others, okay, to make things easy for us. Okay. So these are the basic concepts in Python. This is a native Python. Okay. And we will be using these native Python features and also the libraries.